Video's rolling. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Good to see ya. Good to see ya. All right, let's fire this puppy up and we'll get rolling.
Recorded live.
This is State Representative Julie Pilecki, and you're listening to Garden City Community Chat. And now here's your host, Garden City's one and only, Carrie Parton.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of GC Community Chat. I'm your host, Carrie, and joining me tonight is Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc, Dr. Tom Iwinski, and Mike Jones. This show is dedicated to the residents and businesses of Garden City, as well as the surrounding communities. Remember, we're working hard to promote our community and yours. Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of GC Community Chat. You're listening to show number 248 for June 4th, 2015. June already. Can you believe it? Man, this is the podcast where we promote news and information from our community and yours. I'm your host, Carrie, and joining me tonight are my co-hosts, County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc.
Hello.
And our favorite weather guy, Dr. Tom. How you doing, Tom? I see you just phoned in. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, good. A little warm today, but not bad.
Could be worse.
Yeah. And former Garden City councilman and longtime resident, Mr. Mike Jones. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, it was definitely a little warm tonight down at the ballpark.
Down at the ballpark.
Wow.
Yeah. How many hot dogs you sell?
I sold 60 hot dogs and came home 3.5 pounds lighter.
All right. Okay, we have a lot to get to tonight. Well, he couldn't join us last week for his monthly update, so he's made time for us tonight. Senator David Kniesek will be here shortly. We'll discuss several things with him this evening, including the Republican-sponsored 12-bill package that addresses the road situation. Also, we'll get his thoughts on the Inkster lawsuit that the residents may end up paying for, and we'll see how last week's Mackinac Policy Conference went. Richard, I'm sure, will weigh in on these topics as well as giving us an update for the county. Tom has all the weather for us. Joey and Holly have their 2-minute gardening tips. And tonight's topic is bees, bzzz, and how important they are. Yeah, they're very important. And Mike will have all the community announcements. So looks like another great show for tonight. So why not sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and hang with us for the next 60 minutes or so. Should be a good one. Now, it's very easy to join us here tonight. All you have to do is call in by dialing 1-724-444-7444 and enter the call ID 82757 followed by the pound sign, or join us in the chat room by going to TalkShoe.com and search for call ID 82757. That takes you right to our main show page where you'll click on the large join in button, sign in as a guest, and that's all there is to it. Once you're in there, you can type your comments and comments at the bottom of the page, and you'll find our phone number and show ID there as well. You can also text your questions to us at 734-788-9319. The audio from tonight's show will be posted on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat as soon as it's made available, usually about 30 minutes or so after we sign off. We're also doing a live unedited video of tonight's show. So you can put a face with the voice, and that will be available sometime tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/communitychatshow. And while you're there, why not subscribe? That way you'll be notified when we post future shows. And if all that wasn't enough, we are also in iTunes. Just search for GC Community Chat. I know, it's just so much. Before we get to Tom, I want to mention that on next week's show, June 11th, we will have Mr. Tom Borg from the Tom Borg Consulting Agency. He was recently a guest speaker at the Kiwanis Club. Did a great job, so we invited him to come on the show. His services include several things to help promote and improve your business and sales. So mark your calendars, and we hope you'll be able to join us live, especially if you have a business that may be struggling a little bit. Tom will share some great advice and pass it along to you. Okay, coming up now, Dr. Tom and the weather, Holly and Joey, and then we'll get to Senator Kniesek. So let's get Tom in here.
Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away.
All right, Tom, rock and roll.
I know. Not a bad way to start out the month. We've seen a little bit of a warm day out there, but that's expected for this time of year.
Yeah.
But we did actually see a lot of rain this weekend. It was a rainy, cold weekend out there. We over 2 inches of rain this weekend, which was with a frontal boundary that was going through the region and then it stalled over the weekend. And we got a healthy amount of rain, and that actually helped with our very minor drought that we were starting to build across our area. That's now completely gone, so that's some good news. But yeah, not the greatest last weekend to deal with all that rain, but I do see some light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, today was a great day. A lot of sunshine out there, a little warm, like you guys said, but it's nothing that I can't handle. I mean, yeah, it is if you're doing outdoor work out there, but it is this time of year where it is going to continue to get warmer and warmer out there. But as we get into the rest of tonight, I do see that temperatures are going to start cooling down into the low 60s for overnight lows, and there's going to be another round of clouds that will move through. I don't even see any rain with this system as it's moving through, so I don't think there's going to be any rain tomorrow. I just think it's going to be overall a cloudy day out there, and then it'll start breaking up again as it has been at late in the day. But temperatures are going to, again, be on the warmer side, and the temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. With a lot of humidity, that's what gets you. And then as we get into the weekend, behind this system, I do think it's going to start clearing up on Saturday. A lot of sunshine out there, but a little bit on the cooler side, but not by much, in the mid-70s, low to mid-70s for high temperatures. And then another frontal boundary will start setting up on Sunday, and that will increase our rain chances late in the day on Sunday and continuing into Sunday evening. So if you have any outdoor plans, definitely plan a little bit earlier on Sunday, because as we get into late Sunday, the rain chances increase out there. And temperatures, again, will be on the mild side in the upper 70s. But then as we get into next week, I don't really see any busy patterns developing. I do see a warmer pattern, and but no big storms to deal with. I do think that, again, temperatures will be in the low to mid-80s all of next week with that humidity as well. I don't really see that not being here as well. But that's expected for this time of year as we get into summer. And as summer is not going to be officially started until the 21st of June, but it's definitely that time of year. So I wanted to talk about what I'm thinking that summer will bring to our area. They issue all these interesting outlooks from the National Weather Service out in White Lake, Michigan, and they're thinking that this summer is going to be a little bit on the normal side. I don't really see any crazy summer trends to deal with. First, we're going to talk about the temperatures. They're saying that the temperatures will be overall normal. They're not expecting any big heat waves because the pattern isn't setting up for widespread temperatures to be in the 90s, and they're expecting kind of a normal summer as we talk about the temperatures. But the humidity is one thing that will be on the increase all summer long. So it's not even like it's going to be affecting it because of all the warm stream south winds that are going to be increasing. And they're also saying that sometime during the summer, there's going to be these cold air intrusions like we've been dealing with the last few months. So it's not going to be a consistent pattern of warm temperatures and humidity. Sometimes because of how cold the Great Lakes are, there's going to continue to be these little warm air intrusions, so cold air intrusions, excuse me. So it's not the baddest winter as we talk about the temperatures, but as we get into the precipitation, I don't really think that it's going to be anything on the crazy side as well. They're saying that overall, as these storm systems build throughout the plains, it will be weakening, and overall the rainfall is going to be a little bit on the drier side than normal. So not really a busy summer they're thinking, but overall it only takes one big storm system like this weekend to really ruin anybody's plans out there. But I just wanted to briefly talk about two extremes that for summer that occurred over our area. The warmest temperature ever recorded here was 105 degrees. That's in June in 1934. So quite a long ways that it was hot back then. And the coldest ever in summer was 36 degrees for a daytime high on June 11th in 1972. So it can definitely get cold, but I definitely don't see any cold weather to deal with. But as we expand out, El Nino has been ongoing, and that's affecting our summer, and that's been increasing a very very busy hurricane season across the Pacific. Luckily, all these systems that develop across the Pacific just kind of meander across the Pacific and die out. They kind of get really ramped up and then they die out. And we have two systems out there right now, and they're going to continue to affect the Pacific. The Atlantic has been very quiet. Severe weather has been overall across the plains with a lot of hail, damaging winds, and flooding, but overall it's not any big outbreaks to deal with. And last but not least, the drought has been overall an improving story across much of the United States because of all the rain and flooding out there. Texas is now less than 5% of the country is in level 1 drought. That's unprecedented because just a few weeks ago it was in level 4 drought, and much of that state was dealing with it. But they were dealing with all that flooding, and that definitely improved it. But they had to deal with all that crazy flooding. The unfortunate side is that California is still in that very historic drought that has been ongoing for at least 4 years. So who knows if that pattern's ever going to break. I don't really see any big patterns that are going to help, but eventually it's going to have to break, and I'm kind of worried as to what is going to happen in California because eventually something will happen, and I'm worried that it'll probably be a lot of flooding. So we'll see how that goes, but no immediate threats for California as we're dealing with the warm and hot weather out there and living it up in California. But if you want to keep tuned to the local weather information, just go to my website, DopplerTimesWeather.com.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get Joey and Holly in here, and then we'll get to the senator. Sound like a winner?
Sounds like a weed.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes. Bees are an important aspect of gardening and in human life in general. Without bees, we lose a number of viable vegetables, fruits, and nuts that we consume as humans. The bee population has decreased over the years, and National Public Radio reports that over 42% of hives died out last summer in 2014. There are things that we can do to help the bees that we still have available, and there are some things we can do to avoid the death of others.
One thing that's harming the bees is the use of neonicotinoid pesticides. So one thing you can do is you can grow organically and not use pesticides.
Encouraging you to plant flowers in your landscape, in your vegetable garden, and other places that you may not consider to be a place to grow anything.
You can also grow specific varieties of flowers that will attract bees that help the pollinators. So you can do a search for that, find out the flowers that attract pollinators.
Without bees, humans will have to hand pollinate our vegetables or squashes. For example, there are other pollinators in nature such as flies, wasps, and butterflies. But your main provider of pollination is the bee, and without them, things will only get worse.
It's important to keep this in mind as we need to educate future generations of the importance of bees and why they would be on a decline.
For more information on bees, our weekly video productions, as well as our free downloadable digital quarterly magazine, you can find all that information at
thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
For the health-conscious organic gardener worldwide. For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week. All right. Before we get to Senator Knisik, I want to remind all residents that the next regular city council meeting will be held on June the 8th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers located at 6000 Middlebelt Road. They urge all residents to attend. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce our guest for tonight. He's really not even a guest anymore, but rather a regular to the show. Our good friend, Senator David Knisik. Welcome, David.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Absolutely. How you doing? You all right?
Not too bad. I just realized I could kind of hold this here like I'm on stage.
Yeah, there you go. You could do that.
Thank you.
But then you hear all the rattling in your hand.
Thank you very much.
All right, so first, can we talk about what hit the news today? And that is the 12-bill package, which addresses the roads and sounds like several other things again.
Right.
So what's that all about?
Well, this is it's a roads package right here, Kerry.
That's right.
That's right.
He's the Elvis impersonator.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Thank you very much. The roads package.
Who come up with this?
Let's say what it is. I mean, it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I would say so.
Crapola. Bunch of crap.
It sounds like the same proposal that they did before. They got all this other crap hanging on it.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, the message that everybody took away was fix the roads only. Obviously, there's some other secondary, tertiary aspects to that are going to result in a good bill package. But when you look at some of the things that were included in the Republicans' package that was unveiled today, or in days prior, pardon me, you're looking at some pretty significant cuts to what many folks, Democrats and Republicans, would say is a very strong program that helps working families here in the state of Michigan, the Earned Income Tax Credit. Yeah. President Reagan was one of the gentlemen who even remarked that this is the best anti-poverty tool that we have here in the United States. And 70% of the revenue that we're talking about here, never mind the fact that this still isn't enough revenue to fix the problem. 70% of that revenue is make-believe. It's based upon future projected growth.
Yeah, they're projecting what, $1 billion for roads eventually a year.
Well, still not enough.
No.
Still not enough.
No.
And again, it's just interesting to me from an ideological perspective. Mind you, this is the party that's proposing this plan is the party of lower government, less government, and the plan is 70% reliant on government getting bigger over the next couple of years and producing the revenue that's needed.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about the need to fix the roads, we say we need a sustainable solution. We need a concrete solution. And a majority of this plan is
concrete.
Concrete.
Yeah, concrete.
Thank you.
No pun intended.
And a majority of this plan, it's make believe. So it's not a serious plan. It's not. It's gravel.
So
gravel.
why can't they just come up with one road plan and not all this other crap right
Well,
now?
I think to be fair, when you talk about one road plan, I think that's going to include a number of bills that are focused on the roads issue. You're going to have a revenue piece. You're going to have an accountability piece for the contractors. You're going to have a truck weight limits piece. I mean, you're at the...
Yeah, I can see that.
That's
but I mean now education
happen.
and all this other stuff pinned to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a multi-bill package. But what I think we see here with the plan that's come out in the House of Representatives is probably a starting point, or we're going to go so far off to the right, and then I truly would expect that a plan is going to come out of the Senate side that addresses the problem in a more comprehensive fashion. Sometimes folks just like to throw out the first shot and
get something started.
Yeah, get something started, and to then say whatever comes out second or third, well, hey, this ain't so bad compared to what came out first,
So you haven't really sunk your teeth in this yet and picked it apart or anything, have you?
No, I mean, because again, I don't think it's a serious plan. I'm not going to sit there and waste.
Just a starting point.
Absolutely.
So you don't see it really going anywhere until you guys get it.
No. And, and then,
like
Senate,
you said, you might have your own, too.
Right. The Senate canceled what some would call our summer recess. Some would call it our in-district work period.
Yeah.
That was canceled for the Senate this year in order to more comprehensively address roads. And even with the number of large issues that we have in Lansing right now, I know that it is the prerogative of the majority to solely focus on roads next. All the other things that are kind of swirling around right now, they're going to get pushed to the side to make sure we can focus on roads. And again, like I said in the beginning, I just don't think that this is a serious plan. I think it's the start of the conversation. Or, it could be we just wanted to beat the Senate to the punch. Boom, here's our plan. And haven't put much thought into it.
Yeah, that could be too. Yeah. What do you got a comment there, Richard?
I would agree with the senator's assessment. I mean, that's the way things work in the legislature.
Yeah.
And it
throw something out there, get it started.
Just so folks at home would know, it will never be one bill. It'll never be one item, one issue, for various reasons, many of them technical and legal. But the Speaker, Speaker Cotter, has made it very clear that he has a certain objective along with the end goal. And the objective is to identify methods by which existing monies could be redirected. And it's met with some fairly significant opposition from both sides of the aisle, by the way. I mean, there are folks within the Republican caucus that don't want to go back home and tell their residents, we just eliminated the ITC. Some of the most, the county with the most poverty, for example, is in mid to northern Michigan. I mean, so this is not a southeast Michigan issue necessarily. But anyway.
Yeah, since Proposal 1, those legislators don't have a lot of fans out there right now. I mean, let's face it.
I don't think that there's an everlasting
I don't
grudge.
know.
I
think they want them to get something done.
I'd agree with Richard on this one. Yeah. I'd agree. You know, there are some even in Lansing now that are saying, you know, it went down because folks didn't think it was a big enough plan, and some would even add to the argument that, you know, for as bad as the roads are, perhaps they are not quite bad enough to where residents are truly.
Well, the big argument was it wasn't a road plan strictly for roads.
Bingo.
That was the biggest issue.
Folks discovered stuff along the way.
Yeah.
You know, the
about
entire
a lot of
reveal was not made initially.
On this show.
And then you had the scare tactics. You know, there's a website out there that, you know, they're trying to get a road issue solved elsewhere, and some folks in Michigan borrowed it.
Yeah.
So they took a bus and they manipulated it. They put a piece of concrete through the front window and they towed this thing around as if little children were hit by falling bridges.
Oh my gosh.
And so, you know, the whole scare thing never really worked. And the governor, I mean, I consider him to be very generous with what he did. It wasn't his plan, yet he still went out and tried to sell it. The difficulty in part was limited time, a $10 million special election, perhaps the wrong time of the year, not enough information. And the list is long. But I don't think the legislature suffered. I really don't. I think today that any of them could go back to their district and talk about it and not have lost any
that's just it.
Support.
The constituents are kind of getting tired of just talking about it. Now they want to see some results, basically.
My hope, though, is that it's done this year, that we plan for the next build cycle.
Let's hope something happens. What do you think, Senator?
I mean,
you think this year?
Yeah, I'll say that it has to be after.
It's not going to be an election year.
Yeah. Oh no.
So it has to be this year.
Right.
Yeah. So if it's not this year, it's going to be another 2 years before anything gets done, or lame duck at the end of next year's session. But
right. That's true.
Yeah, it's with the momentum that I picked up at the beginning of the year, and I know the work that's being done in Lansing right now on the House side of things. I would expect something, here before. I know a lot of folks think that they can get it done by the end of June, end of July. And that's just actually, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
that's.
And I'd say the plan too is not going to be as comprehensive as some folks might wish that it was.
I'm thinking more October, maybe.
The plan will not be complete necessarily, but it'll be most of the way there, and that will be viewed as acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
to get to the number of votes, I mean, it's going to be a struggle to get the necessary votes.
Yeah. It is.
But I was assured by a local elected official that if we turn down that lousy proposal, that the legislature would come up with a Plan B.
They will.
Okay.
They will come up with a Plan B.
You may not like it. You may not like it.
Right.
Well, not everybody will like it.
No.
And there may be elements of it that are really disagreeable with a certain part of the population. But there will be a road fix. There will be a road fix.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's move on to another topic here. For those that don't follow the senator on Facebook, shame on them, right?
That's right.
But
personal and
those
political
that do,
page.
You posted quite a lengthy comment on how you felt about the upcoming July 1st tax levy of 6.45 mils in Inkster. You want to go over that with the listeners?
I mean, this is the fourth time that Inkster residents are being asked to take money directly out of their pockets and to pay for mistakes or mismanagement or whatever you want to call it on behalf of the city of Inkster. And as I indicated in the comments that I shared, I I have never really said anything publicly, but when you wake up and you read the papers about how residents are now going to be stuck with almost 6.5 mills.
Yeah.
6.5 mills on top of the other 3 settlements they're already paying off.
Yeah.
And the water.
And the water.
Yeah, and the water. Oh my God.
I mean, geez.
How much more can they take?
And so I use it as an opportunity to highlight frustrations that I've had with the local government in the city of Inkster, and I stand behind everything that I said as it relates to time and time again, whether it's myself or others who are trying to have conversations or move the city in a direction that can bring about some sort of positive change within the community. We are met with inaction.
Yeah.
We are met with individuals who would rather put up a wall and would rather sink a good thing because it either wasn't their idea or they can't get credit for it, or it's just incompetency, you know? And
they really need to clean house.
Well,
really and you stated that.
I say it in every community I represent. I say it in Lansing. Inkster really is a good community. When you talk to the people who live in Inkster, it's an incredibly proud community. It's a community who wants better than what they've got, and it's a community that has been run into the ground by the elected leadership, who continues to fail.
And the community's put them people in there, though. Now they have to vote them out or do something. They have to get involved, correct?
And you wonder when that threshold is hit as it relates to frustrations with what's happening. I do know, obviously, we're going to have a new mayor at the end of this year. We're going to have, I think, 2 or 3, at least 2 new members of city council.
Not running, I don't think.
Yeah. Two members of council plus the mayor, so 3 new members minimum.
Okay.
At the end of this year, and so there is going to be some changes at the city level. The first thing that needs to be done is the charter needs to be rewritten. The charter needs to be rewritten. I mean, that document is so outdated and so handicaps any opportunity for real progress in the community.
Yeah, at least start amending it somewhere.
And the community conversations about what needs to be done or what could be done or what should be done. You talk to residents in Inkster and they'll tell you, man, I remember 20 years ago when we had the same conversation and nothing came of it. The time for having the conversations is past.
Yeah.
The time for doing something or changing ordinance or bringing in the right people, the right minds or what have you. I mean, that's now.
Yeah.
And,
But what really got me about your comment on Facebook is if they'd have went and said, okay, we're going to give Floyd Dent $2 million, their insurance would have covered it.
Yeah, it was reported in the papers that...
This is true?
Yeah, as reported in the papers that, if the settlement was higher, the insurance would have kicked in, and residents would have been on the hook for that money. I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. And again, I mean, imagine what would happen if you woke up tomorrow and you've got 6.5 mills you have to pay on your just for the summer tax bill.
Well, there were some great comments on your comment, and one person said if they wouldn't vote to keep their police and fire, what makes you think they're going to vote for this?
Right. Well, no, there is no vote.
No,
there is no. It is being levied automatically. Automatically levied.
Wow.
Yeah, without a vote.
When a government does not have identified sufficient resources to pay judgments.
So it's automatic. It's levied
State
already.
Law kicks in.
Okay.
And the claimant can petition the court to have a levy assessed, and it shall occur without a vote.
Wow.
No vote of the city council, no vote of the people. It shall occur.
Wow, that's terrible.
It is.
And they don't have $1.4 million to pay.
I think the fund balance right now is $80,000.
What's going to happen? Bankrupt, receivership, what? I mean,
in a very legal and technical sense right now, this has no effect whatsoever on the cities entering bankruptcy or not. This is entirely a judgment against the people.
Period.
Against property owners in the city of Inkster.
So what happens if they can't pay it? The property owners. What, are they going to throw them all in jail?
They can be delinquent and foreclose.
They'll put them on their tax. They'll put them on their taxes. And
Yeah, this is not, you can't pay this separately. It is part of a tax bill.
Wow.
You either pay your tax bill or you don't. You don't get to pick and choose. I'll pay for schools but not police, or I'll not pay the levy but I want to pay for sanitation. You either pay the bill or you don't.
And what was it? I think it was on a $100,000 home, $170 or $162.
On a $40,000 home,
$40,000.
it was $130.
I remember it was just below 150. I'm going to say 140 is what I thought.
On a
what they
$40,000.
view as their average residential property. Wow. So some
on
are
top
more.
of everything else.
Top of everything else. It really is bad. It
It
really is bad.
Yeah.
And
I can see why you were really venting.
You know, and what has really impressed me is the response and the feedback that I've gotten from Inkster residents.
Yeah.
And a number of them have said, you know, we've been saying this for a long time, and I'm not saying it's because it's me, but I think anytime you get a commissioner or a representative or a senator, or, you know, somebody who has, you know, that position of the community, to agree and to say publicly the things that the residents are thinking themselves.
Yeah.
I think it goes a long way with the residents.
You're saying what they want to say.
Right. And so
you might have a little more behind it than they do.
So the feedback was really, really positive. I got a number of text messages. I know it was shared pretty readily in the sort of social media networks, if you will. And I was a little nervous before posting up there. I asked other folks if I should or if I shouldn't, and
like you said,
off we went.
You just can't stay quiet anymore.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I mean, somebody has to speak up for these people, and hopefully, you know, it's election year. They're going to speak up for themselves.
Right.
Now and clean house.
Right.
They really need to wake up more or less.
They're hampered and hindered by their charter, though.
It's terrible.
You only get to vote in the primary election for one member of the city council. You do not get to vote for somebody who is attempting to represent a district other than that in which you reside. So
they don't have at-large.
No, the
members.
mayor
They
is the only
have
at-large
districts.
seat.
You know, that setup works really
And
well.
they have a city
and
manager, right?
Yeah.
That setup, you know, that ward system, that
Yeah,
district
ward,
system,
yeah.
that works really well in a city the size of Detroit to ensure that each, you know, community has representation.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Inkster's 24,000
Yeah.
people.
It's
You
too
don't
small.
need that system, and the way it's set up is even ridiculous in terms of what you can vote for in the primary. Only the two people in your ward that you want to see advance to the general.
Wow.
But then you get to the general election, and then you can vote for the whole city.
Gosh.
It really is
That is
crazy.
The
really
neighborhood
backwards.
narrowed it down. The city gets to vote. It's odd.
Wow.
It's really strange, and you know, on top of that, it's I don't know. There's so many small changes, small things. I think ordinance-wise, that could be done to try and promote or attract development, especially along that strip of Michigan Avenue.
They have the
that's
land.
The
They
main,
do. They have the property.
Well, and that's the other thing. When we have these community conversations and we talk about what does Inkster have going for
Develop it, yeah.
tremendous amount of available land for commercial development
Yep.
and otherwise. And so, you know, if you were to make some changes there along Michigan Avenue, and we've had professionals come in and do it, they've shown what Inkster could look like if we got serious about attracting businesses and building a sustainable community. You know, and I talk to folks who will say, you know, Inkster at one time was this great bedroom community, and, you know, obviously a really proud community as well. And slowly but surely we're seeing over time, because of mismanagement, the schools are now gone. The city is in consent
Dire
agreement
straits,
in dire straits, yeah. And so, you know, the opportunity is there to get better.
Oh,
You just need the right people in place.
There's a lot of potential there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you got to have the right people and the right management. Boy.
So I like Inkster, and it just really pisses me off when I see what's happening to the folks who live, you know, in that community, because they do not deserve it.
Yeah.
They deserve way better than that. And you know,
Let's hope things
just
change.
lending my voice to that chorus, I guess.
So the big thing is the charter. I mean, they got to start there too.
You know,
But you got to have the right people.
well,
in
yes,
place
that's
to-
exactly it.
to
You know,
change
you
it
need the right
first.
folks in charge, but again, you need to have a charter that allows for
Yeah.
you know, that type of growth and expansion, what have you. And just right now, it
Now
just
having the wards
doesn't.
in that, is that the charter? Is that what would have to be changed?
Right.
there?
The whole charter's got to be rewritten.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's just too small to have those wards. All right, so you couldn't be with us last week because you were at Mackinac.
Mackinac.
How did that go? Anything you can bring back and share with us?
Yeah, Mackinac was good. I mean, there was some great presentations. It's interesting the feel, I guess, that you have on the island. I've only been there twice. I was there in 2013. I wasn't there last year. And folks in the past will share. For a number of years, it's just felt depressing, I guess. And then for a while, things started to feel really positive, as Michigan was going through some good changes. And this year, I would describe it, and others agree, it was kind of like an anxiousness of, well, what next? We're through Governor Snyder's first term.
A lot of new faces, too.
Yeah, we're heading into the second. We've got a lot of new people that are a part of, the government here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen next? And so there was some great presentations by folks that came out of town. I tried to find as much time as I could to sit on the porch and have some good conversations with folks about stuff that I'm working on, and obviously in my role with the Senate Democratic Caucus, things that we're doing and conversations we're trying to have moving forward. But it was pretty productive. I was only there for 2 days, but I thought it was
so this is basically like just a think tank or a meet and greet kind of
the
bounce things off each other. What is it?
The Detroit Chamber of Commerce puts it on.
Gary is anti-Mackinac, just so you know.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm well aware.
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to draw something out of you that
The Detroit Chamber of Commerce puts it on every year, and I think for them,
Detroit Chamber of Commerce, Detroit. You hear that? They could use that money in Detroit. That Cobo Hall.
Totally different. Totally different. Yeah.
I know they don't have the rocking chairs on the porch, but.
Oh, you're saying having it in Detroit?
You're being very dismissive.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course. You're sitting there laughing while I take all the heat.
Oh, trust me. Last week I was on the defense.
Okay, we were in it. We were going at it.
It is. I will say this. It is a good opportunity. And I would say particularly for me as a Democrat, to interact with people who traditionally do not operate within Democratic circles and to build relationships within the business community and to, again, talk about the things that we are passionate about that historically maybe there isn't any common ground on. But, it's part business forum, part social mixer, part, rumor starter, and
you said that one.
Yeah.
You said that.
But I in the 2 times that I've been, I've taken a lot away from it, and honestly, it's nice you're not in Lansing, so you're not running back and forth in between the legislative stuff.
Yeah.
Your time can be solely dedicated towards meeting with folks and developing the relationships and moving conversations forward that you might not have otherwise had the time to.
In years past, it used to be a lot about the big three they called, Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. Were they there? Were they all there? Brooks, Patterson, and Evans?
Yeah, I didn't see Brooks Patterson. I saw Mr. Evans and I saw Mr. Hackle on the island, but I did not see Mr. Patterson.
Interesting.
Well, he needs a driver, and you can't drive there.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And I brought some fudge home for everybody.
Did you? Where?
Everybody.
Whereabouts?
Oh man.
Whereabouts?
Almost everybody.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh man. I guess I'm just keep digging that hole.
When he goes to Disney, he'll bring you some salt water.
Yeah, on that junket.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Go on that junket. Right?
The Walt Disney World Conference.
No, taxpayer money.
I tease you, but it just seems like a lot of money that's spent there, and I just think it could be spent wisely somewhere else.
I love it. Good job.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, you don't pay for any of it.
Where the governor lives.
So you're all set.
On the mansion. Yeah, I know. Okay, so let's move on. How's your service dog bill coming?
Oh my gosh, this bill has given me so much heartburn this week.
Yeah, I mean, what's the holdup now?
So, no holdup. So, this bill is, as I've said in the past, the rare intersection of good policy and good politics. You get some bills that are one or the other, but rarely both. And so everybody wants to hop onto the gravy train, including a representative from the west side of Michigan who was able to finagle herself a hearing on a bill that was almost identical to the ones that I've written.
Oh, boy.
So it was a good week of me trying to ensure that her bill goes absolutely nowhere. And so next week, Thursday at 2 p.m., we're going to be holding a joint committee hearing between the House and the Senate Military and Veterans Affairs Committees to take up both bills, to vote them out of committee and send them to the floors in our respective chambers before sending them across the Capitol Dome there and into the other respective chambers. So ball's in motion. Lieutenant Governor has been brought into the process to bring his guidance and his wisdom in. He's always been a tremendous advocate for differently abled individuals, and it's been reported in the past how his brother is a veteran who uses a service dog, and so it's near and dear to his heart as well. I'm just as optimistic as I was at the beginning of the year, and next week is going to be the hearing, and so we can kind of officially get the ball in motion, and off we go.
It's progressing.
Yeah.
I know you went over it with a fine-tooth comb, everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
Dotted your I's, crossed your T's.
We did the same thing. You'll get everybody.
Crossed his eyes.
Yeah, dotted the T's. Everybody who could be involved with it has taken a look at it and offered no objections. And
Good.
so on that side of things, I feel like we've gone through and we've removed all the barriers.
So you would think it would fly through, but
no such
you never
thing as
know.
a slam dunk.
Exactly.
No such
exactly.
thing. No such thing.
Yeah.
So
As
we'll
Richard
see.
knows.
He can slam dunk, though. I've seen him do it.
So any comments on anything he has talked about tonight, Richard? Because you're going to get your turn here shortly.
You know, the senator had asked me, I guess I'd say, to fly-spec some of the stuff before introduction of that particular bill. I
Yeah.
appreciated being brought into the process. I made a few calls.
Nice.
And as he said, everybody immediately recognized this as a darn good bill for a lot of reasons. You know, politicians want to stand next to a police officer. They
Take
love the
their picture,
military. You know, dogs are good and this and that and the other. And when you combine all of it with really, I mean, yeah, it's good public policy too.
Yeah, it is. It
You
is.
know, especially you read where some less informed employee in a business is, you know, not really where they need to be in some of this stuff, and unfortunately, a person is affected by it. So this will help clarify.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so.
We hope so.
Yeah. You like playing with that mic, don't you?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to break
Make
my
all the racket.
Thank you.
All right. Well, anything else you wanted to touch on tonight, Senator?
I think we're good for now.
You think so?
I think we're good for now. I'll turn it over to the commissioner.
All right. We're going to get into Wayne County now.
Are we?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
So what's this big vote? The commissioners are in limbo about the $49 million judgment.
No limbo.
I've seen Richard Limbo
Yeah,
before.
it said there was a limbo on the news.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't watch the news, so
How'd you vote?
I voted today.
Let's get right to the dirt, man.
Yeah, I voted today
You're Nazi.
to allocate funds totaling $49 million so that there would be no tax levy against the property owners in Wayne County.
Right. Now
That's the way I
let's
voted.
first briefly explain what this $49 million judgment
In
is.
2010, the then county executive, Mr. Fracano, and the then county commission agreed to remove $32 million from what would have been pension monies going to retired employees in the form of what they call a 13th check, which in itself is ridiculous. And notice I'm saying this publicly.
Yeah.
A 13th monthly retirement check. So anyway, that really is the crux of all of it. First of all, you didn't have enough money. And so people were paying a 13th check without having money. Then they had to borrow, so to speak, this money to pay for other things. And what happened was the pension board objected. So the pension board sued the county, saying we want our $32 million back. Initially, the county prevailed in court, and then the Michigan appeals court said, not so. Then it went to the Michigan Supreme Court, and unanimously, recently, the Supreme Court agreed with the appeals court and said Wayne County owes the money.
Yeah, I was surprised the first time Wayne County won that.
With expected additions involving interest and stock gains and this and that and the other. The judgment climbed to $49 million. And it was entered officially less than a week ago. And the timing of that was interesting. I would just say that. The administrative team today, Mr. Evans and his team, then notified the court they didn't have the money, and so to do what they had to do. So then you go to this law that kicked in, coincidentally, just like Inkster's did,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
would have cost 1.4 mils one time for every property owner in Wayne County, which would have, on a residential sense, for those who have a home valued at $100,000, would have been about $65, give or take a couple dollars. And some of us objected strenuously to the characterization that there was no way to find $49 million. That's a lot of money. Make
Yeah, it
no
is.
mistake. We
Yeah,
all know that.
right.
However, we have what's called the Delinquent Tax Revolving Fund that has in it about $78 million that has not been allocated for anything.
Just sitting there.
Admittedly, it could have been used in the next budget cycle to pay down what we call accumulated debt, the amount of debt that has been climbing year after year after year because of bad budgeting decisions. But as of today, earlier today, that money wasn't allocated for anything. So by a divided vote, the Wayne County Commission, it was 9-5 with one absent. By a 9-5 vote, the commission said use the DTRF money. Do not assess Wayne County residents for this.
That would fly, though? You don't need a certain amount of commissioners to
It's a simple
vote?
majority.
Okay, majority.
So
okay.
it took 8.
All right.
And there were 9. However, I was advised by administration, by multiple members of the administration, that they're going to issue a veto. I was advised before the vote, and I was acknowledged and advised after the vote that sometime within the next 10 days, because everything has been legally transmitted, sometime within the next 10 days, the executive has the option of vetoing that action. The Wayne County Commission will meet on Tuesday, June 16th, in the event that a veto does occur. And
2/3.
Back to the,
yes, we need 2/3 vote to override a veto.
yeah.
Whether there is sufficient support for a veto, I don't know at this point. Whether the veto occurs, I don't know at this point, but I've been told that it will. And if a veto is issued and the veto stands, all Wayne County property owners will be assessed
They're gonna flip the
1.4
bill.
mils
Flip the bill.
for a year.
So how's the
I find it very, very objectionable. I do. I don't even like the state law that allows for bad financial decisions by the legislative body resulting in assessments
Punishing us. Right.
without a vote of anybody. The commission doesn't get to vote on it. The residents don't get to vote on it. Nobody gets to vote on it.
Wow. Yeah.
How was the absent person likely to vote? Because that would be. If they
I'm
were
not going
with
to
you,
speak for that person.
Yeah.
If they were with you, that'd be 10.
I'm not going to speak for that person.
Yeah.
I
No,
will tell
and
you
can't.
that every person that voted no represents Detroit. And there's another member that wasn't there today that represents Detroit. Whether that person would follow suit, I have no way of knowing. And I would add, one person that represents Detroit, Commissioner Leland, voted to approve the DTRF funds.
And who's the person that stood up and said, let's bring McConnell back?
That,
Oh,
I tell you
my
what,
God. Was that for real?
that happened.
Oh, my God.
For the benefit of the listening audience, today in committee, this is before we got to full board, we took a vote to send it to full board for formal action. And during public comment, which is allowed and required,
Yeah.
a union president for Wayne County employees, and there are several, stood up, and her final comment was something to the effect, and I wrote it down exactly, and I put it in there
on
exactly,
Facebook,
but
yeah.
essentially it was, for all the stuff that's being done by the current and new Wayne County executive, we'd like to have Ficano back.
Oh, my
And
God.
when that was said, I swear to God, you
Oh,
could hear a pin drop.
I bet.
And then I said, that will make the news tonight. And everybody laughed like crazy. And
And I wonder
later,
if it did. It
she
did on
said
this show.
again, she said, I meant it. Now,
Wow.
you know, it's okay, friend today, foe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Foe the next day, friend the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of these people base whether they like it or not on what happened in the last vote.
Yeah, they do.
And That's not a
just-
good way to conduct business, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So,
Yeah.
as it stands today, right now, I would wish for people to know that a majority of the Wayne County Commission, including myself, voted in a manner that would satisfy that judgment that I had no part of. I wasn't there when they did all this stupidness.
Yeah.
Would satisfy that obligation without going to every taxpayer in the county of Wayne. And my sincere hope is that that's the way it ends.
So you're saying to come out of that fund, that $78
Come out of
million
that fund.
fund.
And I will also go on record as saying, if a veto is issued, I have already asked the chair to have it placed on an agenda so that we can override it. And I will vote to override it.
Good.
And my
Boom,
hope
there it
is
is.
that even people who did not support the agenda item itself
Yeah.
would take a step back for a moment and think about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is not administration versus legislator. It's not. What it is, though, is that it is a tool in the box that the executive can use. But if he does, wouldn't you rather preserve the sanctity of the role of a legislator?
Yeah.
It's no different than, let's say that somebody wants to put a nightclub on the corner where the post office is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the legislative body says no,
Mm-hmm.
and it's vetoed.
Right.
The legislative body should stand up for itself,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Right.
For
yeah.
itself as a whole.
Yeah, you
Not
would
for
think.
itself on a single vote, but
Mhm.
itself as a whole. And I
Mhm.
can say that because
You-
as a local legislator,
You've been there.
I've actually done that.
Yeah, you've been there.
I have voted to not support something. When it became vetoed, I voted to override the veto because it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So, conversely, I would also expect, though, every single commissioner who voted yes today, I would hope that they vote yes for veto override, which
Yeah.
means we need at least one more
Yeah, that's true.
if that happens.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
again, I offered as part of my public comment that I'm going to speak with local legislators that I know
Yeah.
to ask them to at least take a look at the law that allows for tax levy, because there should be and could be a different mechanism that can be utilized when you have fiscal malfeasance, and that's what I view some of this as. I really truly do. I view some of the things that have happened in Wayne County as being such an affront that they should have cost people their jobs.
Wow. Yeah.
And in one instance it did. Mr. Ficano lost his job.
Yeah, that's true.
But in other instances, that's not the case.
No.
And, I mean,
So what do you think, Senator? Take a look at
Uh-oh.
it? Let's get you to weigh in on this. I mean, this is,
I look at it the
It's a big
same
deal.
way I look at the Inkster situation.
I was just going to say that.
there you go.
I look at it the exact same way.
Yeah.
Because the government screws up.
Right.
Yeah.
One person, two, 5 people, whatever it is, everybody else has to pay the price for
Right.
it. Give me a break.
It's the same thing.
Give me a
Same
break.
thing. Not right.
Then we wonder why people don't have any trust in government.
Yeah,
And you know,
exactly.
Using a word like malfeasance
Yeah.
does not, that doesn't, you know, it's not a normal part of conversation. It's a big word and it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
I can't
It's
even
not-
spell it.
It's not layman.
And-
It's not layman
And
terminology.
it's one of the technical violations that can cause a person to be removed from public office. But I view it that way. Some of the decisions that have been made in Wayne County, I truly do view that way. Now, as a person, do I like, you know, the colleague that I, you know, sit across from or next to or whatever? That's not the point.
Doesn't matter.
It's some of these votes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I posted a very cryptic comment yesterday morning, when this first became revealed publicly, I put on Facebook, another punch to the gut.
Right.
Yep.
My
Yep, I
mom
saw it.
called me and asked me if somebody hit me.
Physically?
Are you okay, son?
And if so, she said, I hope you punched him back. Which I thought was pretty funny.
That is.
But I meant it in a rhetorical sense.
Right.
And it's like day after day after day.
Wow. Yeah.
As a Wayne
Well,
County resident,
That is
I am
something that has to be
irritated
looked at.
A lot of this
Yeah,
stuff.
this
I am.
levy stuff. I mean, it's
And I
ridiculous.
don't like being lumped in with some of the folks that made this decision.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Yeah.
But I'm there. I wanted to be there. I'm
Part of the
privileged
job,
to
isn't
be
it?
there.
Yeah.
But I'm
Trying to get
also trying to
Yeah, right.
I'm also trying to work toward
Could be.
an amicable solution
Yeah.
that is as least as possible affecting the taxpayer's wallet,
Yeah. Right.
because it's just simply not fair. And I
Kind of like how you came out on Proposal 1.
well, I was on the right side, fortunately.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
one never knows. But this to me is pretty clear. I also have to say that if a veto occurs, I may think differently. But today, I respect and understand the administration not wanting to take money out of the DTRF. I do, because potentially that money could be used elsewhere. But that is a legislative decision, and so I'm going to leak something to you right now.
Okay.
Write it down.
All
Write
right,
it down.
write this
Here we
down.
go.
All right. It's being
The
recorded
Commission has
and on
sole
video.
authority over the discretion and potential use of the DTRF funds.
Really?
Yes. So
Okay.
today they
The
decided
Commission as
to
a whole.
allocate $49 million of it toward this judgment.
Uh-huh.
The executive, and this is something I suspect, if the executive were to issue a veto that was sustained, in other words, if this becomes a levy, I will work hard against allocating $49 million anywhere except to return it to taxpayers for the bill that they're about to pay.
Okay.
So I won't allocate it to sustain anything, to pay down anything, to hire anyone, to offer any new service, because what they would wish to do, and they made this very clear, is to pay down existing accumulated debt,
Yeah.
which is very noble. This
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah, this is being laid on us.
I'll work against using that money.
And it's a
for that
lot more
purpose.
people than there is in Inkster, too, that's going to be
Oh, yeah.
affected, you know? Which, I mean, makes no difference. It's still a crappy situation, no matter how you look at it.
Inkster could get a double whammy.
Yeah,
I
well,
heard
good.
from
Their fifth win.
over the course of the day today, and I responded while I was
That's
sitting
true.
right here before the show began. I responded to an Inkster resident. I have heard from several, and I'll tell you that the only people that have contacted my office via telephone and email and stopped me personally to talk, the only people that have asked me to allow the levy to occur are employees.
Really?
Every other person has said, don't do this. Every other person.
Wow.
And I would also say every single person except one that lives within the 12th district that's contacted me said, don't do this. Don't put a levy on us. The one person who did say put the levy on us is a Wayne County employee from Garden City.
Wow. Interesting.
So anyway, I'm done.
Yeah, but that's true,
really,
Mike. That
we had a
is a
lot of stuff
double
on the
whammy for
agenda,
them.
but that was it today.
Yeah.
That was the biggie. That's been this entire week.
Yeah, it's been all over the news. I mean, it's a big deal. So then you meet again when again? Next week?
Well, yeah, we meet every week, but
But when will we know if it's going to be vetoed, if it's sustained or
vetoed?
Vetoed?
I'd like a voto.
Vetoed.
Photo.
Take
I was going-
a photograph.
Two different directions.
So if a veto occurs,
Uh-huh.
per our charter, it must be within 10 days
After.
of the official filing, if I can call it that, transmittal of the documentation. So within 10 days from tomorrow morning,
Okay.
there either will be a veto or there won't. If there is, the commission will meet for the purpose of trying to override the veto
Yeah.
on Tuesday, June
Yeah.
16th at 10 a.m.
June 16th. Okay. Got to remember that. Going to be interesting. All right. Any more comments? Any more comments, Mike?
No.
No? Nothing? All right. Let's move on. Very interesting, though. A lot of good information on this show tonight, I'm telling you. All right, if you haven't been to Brenda's Butterfly Habitat yet, you don't know what you're missing. Located at Barson's Greenhouse, 6414 Merriman Road. She is now open through September 5th, Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. She'll be closed if it's raining. It's a great place to hang out with the kids, the grandkids, or by yourself. It is free, but she does take donations.
Do the butterflies not fly when it's raining?
No, they do not fly. They are grounded. She grounds them. Check it out. You won't be sorry. Oh, and any business owner interested in becoming a member of the GCBA, they wanted to let you know to visit their website at gcbiz48135.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/Garden City Business Alliance, where you'll find much more information. The GCBA meets on the second Friday of the month, and their next meeting will be on June the 12th. That's next Friday at 6 p.m., and Gordon Chevrolet will be hosting that meeting. We're going to be going over bylaws and articles of incorporation, so you're going to want to be there. So bring your ideas and some business cards, because networking is what it's all about. Also, our guest speaker for that meeting is going to be Tom Borg, too, so you'll want to come out and listen to that. The GCBA is talking about some great events planned in the future for the community, so why not join and be a part of it? Okay, with some more announcements, here is Mike Jones. Mike, you're up.
Okay, Kerry, we got a few here tonight. The Garden City Elementary PTA is sponsoring the Family Movie Night under the stars at the Memorial 1-2 campus at dusk, which is around 9 o'clock p.m. It's free. This is a free family event for K through 6 families. There will be concessions available for purchase, but you're welcome to bring your own snacks. Don't forget a blanket or chairs. Please remember that when on school property, all school rules must be followed. No pets, alcohol, or tobacco of any kind. No. And the next, which, by the way, that's tomorrow. The next announcement is for Saturday. The Kiwanis, Michigan District of Kiwanis Division 4 is having their prayer breakfast at 9 a.m. at Amatea's Restaurant. Buffet style, all you can eat, $12 per person. The guest speaker is Richard Burrell, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Advanced reservations are required. It's hosted by the Kiwanis Club of Garden City, and primarily James Lentz, Ken Hines of Garden City, and Al Schultz of Dearborn Heights have been behind the planning of that. And then, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
To celebrate Memorial Day, Party Animal Travel would like to take our veterans and those who are now serving on a day trip away to the Greek Town Casino in the Detroit River Days celebration. Date of this trip is Saturday, June 20th, and includes round-trip motor coach, $20 in slot pay, and time to visit the best celebration on the river, the Detroit River Days Festival. If you are a veteran or are now serving, please call 734-525-9777. Proof of service will be required to obtain this free trip. If you'd like to take a family member or friend with you on this wonderful celebration, the cost would be $29, but then you get $20 in slot pay. So
yeah, that's a good deal.
So it's only a net cost of $9 there. It's not bad.
Nope.
Also, if you're a police officer, this offer is open to you. Party Animal understands how hard you work, and we are asking you to join us too. Please spread the word and help us celebrate our troops. And finally, the American Legion Post 396 is sponsoring a golf tournament at Warren Valley Golf Course, August 15th, 2015. Shotgun start at 9 a.m., $100 per golfer, 18 holes, scramble golf, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, a raffle, and much more. And they have $15,000 prize for anybody that has a hole-in-one. Terry tells me my offer of a hole-in-15 would not be honored.
No.
The proceeds will benefit Siggy's Dogs and the Home Food Pantry in Garden City, Michigan. So please bring a non-perishable canned good to donate. Registration by August 15th. Please feel free to contact Paul Castellut at 734-766-8025 or our own Dick King, 734-564-7080. That's all I have, Kerry.
All right. Sounds good. All right, June 13th, the Garden City Flea Circus is going to be held from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that will be held at the Old Farmers Market lot next to Kroger's parking lot. It's the northeast corner of Ford Road and Middlebelt, and that is on Saturday, June 13th. They're going to have pet adoption and awareness event, 10 by 10 space, only $10. Multiple spaces are available. Applications available at the DDA office. Participants' registration should be submitted by Monday, June 1st, but I think they're still taking reservations if you want to do it now. If you have any questions, you can contact Brooke at 313-320-1225. Also, the Straight Farmhouse starts their flea markets, outdoor flea markets over there, the second and third Saturday of the month. Their first one will be June 13th. And it's going to run through September 19th. Setup begins at 8 a.m. and it starts at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Only $15 for a 10 by 10 space. Monies from the space rental goes directly to the museum, and that is payable on the day of the flea market. Restrictions are no weapons, no offensive pictures or literature. No food or beverage sales as well. Richard, yeah. The flea market will be held at Straight Farmhouse, which is located at 6221 Merriman Road. And head on out there and check it out. And I only got one more thing. The 21st Annual Garden City Garden Club Garden Walk will be held. And let's see. That is on Saturday, June the 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets can be purchased in advance at Barson's Greenhouse, 6414 Merriman Road in Westland, or at Lucky Dog Daycare, 5921 Middlebelt Road in Garden City. Tickets are $8 or 2 for $15. For more information, you can call 734-564-3868. And that's the Garden Club's big event, so you get a lot of good ideas out there from different yards. I think there's 8 different homes on the walk this year, so pray for good weather, too. All right. Well, guys, I think we're ready to call this a podcast. I want to thank Senator Knisik for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure to have him on, and he does a great Elvis impersonation.
Yeah, he does. That's right.
Elvis has left the
I
house.
roll quarters in my pocket.
Also, thanks to my co-hosts Richard, Mike, and Tom. You guys are the best.
We know.
And also thanks to Holly and Joy all the way from Wisconsin for your gardening tips. And thank you to everyone who hung out with us in the chat room. We really appreciate your support every week. Remember, the audio from tonight's show will be available on Facebook, on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat shortly after we sign off for tonight. And look for the video of tonight's show sometime tomorrow on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CommunityChatShow. And let me just mention that if you would like to come on the show, we'd love to have you. We still have plenty of dates available. Maybe you own a business or belong to an organization. You'd like to share your information with us and the community. Just send us an email at gccommunitychat@gmail.com, and we will shoot you some dates, and that's all there is to it.
Hey, Kerry.
Yes.
I understand the city manager wants to come on in a month or so to talk about the renewal of the public safety measures.
That's true, yeah. We're going to be shooting him some dates. He contacted us, and city manager Bob Murray wants to come on the show, so we'll get him scheduled. That'll be interesting. It's always a pleasure to talk to him. Okay, remember, the success of the community depends on the community. Please support your local businesses, and if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, head on over to DopplerTomsWeather.com. He's got a great little website over there. So join us next week right here on TalkShoe.com, show ID 82757, when our guest will be Tom Borg from Borg Consulting. So on behalf of Richard, Mike, Tom, Holly, and Joy, this is Kerry. Take care and see you next time. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good night. Bye-bye.
All right. See everybody next Thursday Been a pleasure. Say goodbye. Bye.